Let's go over the user prefs. Counter size determines the size of the counter's background. Text size determines the font size that will be used. Target minutes determines how many minutes you want the timer to run for, in addition to the target seconds. Target seconds determines how many seconds you want the timer to run for, in addition to the target minutes. Countdown determines whether the timer will start from 0 and tick upward toward the target minutes and seconds, or if it starts from the target and ticks downward towards 0. Auto Show, if checked, will make the timer visible on the screen as soon as the timer is started. Auto Hide, if checked, will make the timer disappear off the screen as soon as the target time has been reached. Display Minutes, if checked, will display minutes and seconds. If unchecked, then it will display seconds only. That means 2 minutes will be displayed as 120 seconds. Display Milliseconds determines whether or not milliseconds will be displayed on the timer. Displaying milliseconds requires considerably more processing, so only check this option if you really need it. Reset when target reached will reset the time on the timer as soon as the target time is reached. There are 5 events. Timer started happens anytime the timer is started. Timer expired happens anytime the timer is expired. Timer paused happens anytime the timer is paused. Timer reset and stopped happens anytime the timer is reset and stopped. Timer reset and started happens anytime the timer is reset and started. Before I give you a demonstration, let's go over the screen position script. This script allows you to adjust the position of the timer on the screen. Pivot and anchor location determines where the timer is and where it will be anchored. The default option is top center. That means the pivot point of the timer will be at the top center. It also means the pivot point will be anchored to the top center of the screen. If we choose the option that says top left, then the pivot point would be at the top left corner of the timer, and it would be anchored or positioned at the top left corner of the screen. The next option allows you to set the distance from the anchor. With the pivot and anchor set to top center, the timer would be positioned at the top center of the screen. A positive Y value for the distance from anchor will move the timer downward, putting more distance in between the timer's pivot point and the screen's anchor point. A positive X value would move it to the right, and a negative X value would move it to the left. Now for a demonstration. I already have a timer in my scene, but we need something to start and stop the timer. I'll use a lever for that. You can find the levers in the Buttons and Levers folder. I'll go ahead and drop a long handle lever into my scene. I'll expand the Toggled On event and the Toggled Off event. I'll drag the timer to the Toggled On event and tell it to start timer. Then I'll drag the timer to the Toggled Off event and tell it to reset and stop timer. Let's click the play button and test it out.